for Battle.net or Blizzard employees in general, in that they have to balance the game from bronze up to masters, because you like masters and grandmasters. I know it sounds bad, but the grandmaster players, that's less than 1% of the people who play. Masters level, that's 2% of the people who play, and you want to make sure that you have a game that's fun for everyone, and that's really a lot of the focus. And I stand behind them. If they really say that the game is going to be more fun for everyone, then we will get more viewers and will also become a better spectator sport. But let's get into this game. Matron, why don't you start us off?
Looks like we will have Vile Dodoro spawning as the purple Protoss player in the southwest corner of this all too familiar Zelnaga Caverns, and up in the northeast corner we've got vVv Titan, the winner of 2 straight so far, and hoping to make it 3 straight. In the chat there between the games as we were waiting for Dodoro, Titan did mention that this is the weakest matchup for both players. So as I was saying, we haven't seen much ZVP from Titan. It turns out that's going to be his weakest matchup. So we'll see, how this transgresses, or how this goes between the two players who, I guess it's going to be their weakest matchup. We'll see what goes down.
Yeah, one of the things that I find interesting is that I've seen this a lot from Protoss players now, where they try to forge fast expand on Zelnaga Caverns. You can see the pylon being placed down here. I've seen a forge be built over here to try to make it in a wall, and then have this little connector all the way to the Nexus. And then that almost becomes an expansion attempt. And as you mentioned earlier, in Zelnaga Caverns, it's much more difficult for a Zerg player to take up a third base, as we now see Titan going for his standard extractor pool, and we'll see what will come of this as that probe gets in a little bit more harassment.
Yeah, this Forge Fast Expand is a little bit more difficult on this map, just because of how wide the natural is here. You have to defend a lot of surface area, and going pool first, and I'm not sure whether Titan actually is. It looks like he will be going for a 15 pool there, so making 2 extra drones after that gas. So it's going to be a little bit more economical, getting a lot of drones out here, and he might be able to put a little bit of pressure going pool first onto this build of Dodoro. Dodoro might have to come out with a gateway and a cannon before his Nexus. The order of those buildings that he placed down can be changed for Protoss depending on how much pressure he might see coming.
Yeah, right now Dodoro is going to have another problem in that, no, he's going for a Nexus first. He's going to actually stop his probe production, and this is the pretty standard build that I was familiar with, 17 over 18, and now getting up a pylon, and then after the pylon, he will be going for that probe. So he is going to slow down his probe production, sitting at 17 over 15 now. And now the drone of Titan coming up the ramp and taking a look around, and he's going to see pretty much everything he wants to see. And I don't know if Titan knows how to respond against this. I believe I saw Rude Cats do this against Millennium Todd in MLG. And Cats responded with a very, very fast attack to tier 2 and then a spine crawler rush. So we'll see if Titan perhaps saw that matchup, and we'll see how he tries to punish Dodoro this time around.
Yeah, Dodoro going to do his best to try to stop this natural from going down for Titan, but Titan's going to get it up without too much of a trouble there. And now Dodoro trying to run away with that probe. Again, Titan making these first 4 Zerglings. He's going to get some good scouting information, take those towers, make sure no proxy shenanigans are happening. But I think he's got a great idea of what Dodoro is going for. He saw that Nexus go down before even the gateway. So he knows he has license to drone and even expand if he wants to take a quick third in one of these side bases. Those are often not scouted too often by Protoss players, or maybe even try to take that third. It's a little bit difficult behind those destructible rocks, but because this gateway is so late, it's going to be finishing around the 5-minute mark here. It means warp gate's going to be late, and the Protoss player not going to be able to put too much pressure on a Zerg player, so they're just free to macro.
Yeah, Titan now getting that all-important second queen. That queen may lay down a creep tumor and then start making the trek over. Titan gonna have a lot of time to develop a very strong creep highway, and essentially there is gonna be almost no early game in this matchup, and it's gonna go straight into the mid game where both players have very, very large armies, as I don't think either player can really destroy the other player for the next 5 minutes or so. So we'll see what's going to be happening here as that Cybernetics core now coming online. As you mentioned, no warp gate research yet, not even a zealot. So we have 30 probes, and that is it coming in from Dodoro.
And Dodoro coming in with another scout, and this is an important timing in this matchup with this build specifically. You want to see if a Roach Warren's gone down for the Zerg player. If they're going for a 2-base Roach Speedling sort of all in or to try to take advantage of the fact that you don't have a lot of mobile defense. Those roaches do quite well against cannons, having a lot of HP. If you're able to focus down some buildings from range, it can just be a terror for a Protoss player. And we see that Titan did not have a Roach Warren down, so he's actually going for a faster lair, and he's going to forego a quick third here and go for that tech instead. Dodoro just started his Warp Gate tech a few moments ago, so it's going to be quite a bit of time before he's able to put any sort of pressure on Titan.
Yeah, Titan now coming in with this Overlord. The Overlord getting plenty of scouting information. Nothing really inside the main base, so no hidden tech just quite yet. A Zergling, for some reason, sacrificing himself up against a couple of Photon Cannons as the Overlord down to 22 hit points, 16. It may not, no, I thought it may be able to slip away for just a second, but another sentry came out, and the first sentry was able to get that kill, so... And pretty much Titan knows what exactly is happening. Dodoro knows what exactly is happening as well. But no player really reacting or responding, and no one really doing anything about the other just macro intensive game that we should be seeing in just a moment.
Well, I wouldn't say that Titan knows everything that's going on, as 6 gateways just put down for Dodora, so it's going to be a 7 gate here, timed out with perhaps +1 is being chronoed at the moment as well. We see a few pylons being added, so Dodora going to explode here with tons of units out of these gateways, and he's got Warp Gate and +1 finishing at almost the exact same time. You can tell this is a well thought out build. The Warp Gate's finishing, or the Gateway's finishing right now as well, being transformed into Warp Gates, and we'll see if Titan is going to have enough to defend against this. He's got no static defense at home. He's just got a few roaches coming out, just finished this Hydralisk den, but he's going to have to come out with some Hydras. And we'll see as Dodora pushes out here, Titan does have these towers. He's going to see it coming, so we'll see whether he's able to defend against a very strong 7-gate push.
Yeah, 7 gate, always very, very destructive. Roaches now in position, trying to take down these rocks. Massive number of pylons now warping in as well. Are the roaches going to be able to get some damage? Oh, yeah, going to perhaps shut down a probe. No, not getting that probe there. Another probe over here has been destroyed as well. So only one proxy pylon, and that pylon has been destroyed. But now the roaches getting caught in a very, very difficult situation. Not able to fight back. Now trying to take down some of those sentries as well. As we are getting into the Hydralisk, and Titan is in trouble. He needs spine crawlers. He needs something to hold off this rather large attack, as the pylons will warp in a lot of units in just a moment.
Yeah, Titan was able to delay that a little bit, take down a sentry or two, but I'm not sure if he was able to delay enough, and he's just got Lings and Hydras on the way. It's a lot of DPS, but if some Zealots come in and get some good surface area on these units, it could be very deadly for Titan, but it looks like it's going to be all Stalkers, so Lings and Hydra's going to do quite well. We'll see whether he's able to get us around.
And now trying to push in Stalkers, trying to fight back. Queen's also engaging over here, but Dodoro with a much larger army at this time and getting reinforcements as well. The Queen's doing their best. We should perhaps see some transfusions as well. No transfusions at all, as Queens are getting picked off. That poor spawn larva there, and drones now coming off the mineral line in order to fight back. But really, those force fields preventing any aggression. Dodoro doing that stutter step. The roaches do move very, very fast on creep, able to get some damage. Drones now absorbing a lot of that damage as well. And it looks like this exchange is starting to take its toll on Titan. I think a lot of drones have been destroyed.
Yeah, 20 drones so far, so if anything, Dodoro might be pushed back here. And wow, GG coming from Dodoro.
All right, I need to take a look at the game right now and figure out what exactly happened. We had 50 probes versus 35 or 37 drones, and
maybe he felt like he wasn't going to be able to take on the counter push, but creep wasn't spread that far, so Titan wasn't going to be able to get to his base for a long time. He had those cannons up, and he had the huge worker advantage. I'm not really sure why he did that. Maybe he didn't know he took down all those drones. 20 drones dead for Titan there.
Yeah, that is a really big surprise, and I think the Doro, I wouldn't say that he was in the lead at that point, but I would not say that he was behind by any means. I mean, that counterattack could not have been that strong. A lot of Zealots, some force fields. There were a decent number of roaches, but you also have some static defense, 1 or 2 photon cannons, and those probes would have been able to fight some damage and absorb as well, and perhaps just hitting the reset button more than anything else in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Titan did have out those Hydralisks, and they're so good against gateway units. Maybe Dodoro felt like, you know, he's got the tech up to counter what I'm going for. When you go that 7 gate, it's basically all in the fact that you can't get up any sort of tech. You can't get up those Colossi, which do so well against Hydralisks, so it can be very difficult to defend. But again, would have liked to see Titan at least have to earn it a little bit by at least pushing out, putting some pressure on Dodoro, so we could see whether those 7 gates were going to be able to, reinforce, and especially that huge probe lead as well. I'm not sure whether Titan would have been able to reinforce that army. He had a ton of units, of course, but again, kind of a questionable GG, especially with the huge drone damage that Dodoro was able to do.
Yeah, so I guess we'll have to stay tuned for Game 5 to see whether or not Titan can go for a semi-all kill. Titan so far 3-0, and now taking a 3-1 lead for vVvGaming. Stay tuned for Game 5.